They canceled you. They tried to make both you and WalkAway disappear.
So the group that I had created, #WalkAway campaign, which at that point had grown to over 500,000 people, and we had tens of thousands of testimonial videos of people and stories of people sharing about why they walked away from the Democratic Party. Facebook eliminated the group, banned all, and deleted all the content, took everything. I didn't even have time to mourn that or deal with that because I was too busy fighting for my life at the time. But I mean, that was hugely devastating to WalkAway as a whole. But in addition to that, I mean, within, I'd say, the first 30 days of me getting arrested, both I as an individual, Brandon Straka, and the WalkAway organization, WalkAway Foundation, even though WalkAway had nothing to do with January 6th, I wasn't there. WalkAway didn't pay for me to go. I wasn't there on behalf of WalkAway. So it was just an opportunity to hurt us, because it was totally no connection whatsoever. But WalkAway was permanently banned by PayPal, Venmo, Stripe, Patreon. The next 5 or 6 email services that we were using, MailChimp, they banned us. Then we switched to Constant Contact, they banned us. It just, the next series of 5, 6 email services, we were banned by banks, payment processors. So nearly everything digitally that you would need to do business in the year 2020 and beyond banned us permanently. So in 2021, because remember this was January 2021, we went about 8 months without even being able to process a donation from our donors because we couldn't. I mean, not only did we not have the payment processors, we didn't have the donor portals, we didn't have banks, we didn't have, it was a mess. And so it took us all of those, and we'd start with a new service and then they would ban us, and start with another and they would ban us. So it took us about that long. And we finally got to the point where we're like, we need to find Republican run businesses. We need to sit down and have conversations with them, explaining the situation and get assurances that they will not ban us. And then we need to custom build a lot of these things, which is what we did. So we had to literally custom build a payment processor for us, a donor portal for us, all these things, which took time. And then we had to migrate as much as we could the recurring donors that we had. And we lost about 65% of our monthly recurring donors in that migration, not because they didn't want to support us anymore.
They couldn't. There was no way.
We couldn't even contact them to tell them it had happened. We couldn't email them. So, people thought they were still supporting us, and we couldn't even contact them and tell them that they weren't. And so after about, 8 months, I'd say we got back up and running, started reaching out to some bigger donors at that point who stuck with us. Some people didn't. Thank God the majority did. But there were some that said, I don't want to be connected anymore to it's too hot. I don't want to get investigated myself.
Well, that was the goal of the punishment. That was the goal.
That's right. But we got some money coming back in. To be honest with you, we did really well that year, considering it was our worst year financially. But the number could have been 0. And it wasn't, so we kept going. I didn't have to let any of my team go, which was scary. And that, by the way, let's take a moment to kind of honor that, because even though I didn't do anything wrong, really, I still felt guilty and responsible, because I have a team. I'm responsible for these people's paychecks, and I'm responsible for, their children's getting doctor's care, going to school, and all of these things if their parents don't have a job. And the idea that I might have to fire employees or let people go because of what was happening to me, I was like, I'm not going to let this happen. And thank God it didn't. No one had to lose their job. And then going into 2022, that's when I was on house arrest. And so about halfway into 2022, I finally, after January of 2021, was able to go out and start working again, doing rallies, doing events, getting into colleges, and doing all the stuff we do. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you it was the same, because it wasn't.
No.
No. First of all, the whole culture around the country was depressed and fearful and apprehensive, and and having me there, people were worried about it, and they were worried about, we're having this J6. I was no longer the WalkAway guy. I was the J6 guy,
Right.
which is gross, and I hate it.
Different story.
Yeah.